Hi everyone, hello. Would you like to all come and sit down? Oh. Would everyone like to sit down now, please? So we'll start. Namaste. So, great. Great, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Carpenter and I'm the current New South Wales Chapter Council President. I would like to begin by acknowledging the the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which we meet today. The Gadi people, all the Gadi people, and actually very especially Shannon Foster, who is a traditional owner. Where's Shannon? Right, over there, Shannon, yeah. So, welcome, Shannon. On behalf of the Australian Institute of Architects, I pay my respects to their ancestors and their descendants, who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognise their valuable contributions to Australia and global society. Our Prizes and Honours event is an annual celebration of exceptional contributions to architecture that spans excellence in practice, research, journalism, and so much more. This event also marks the elevation of members of the Institute to Fellows, Honorary Fellows, and Life Fellows as an annual acknowledgement of outstanding and enduring services to the profession. On behalf of the Institute's New South Wales chapter, I would like to formally acknowledge our sponsors for tonight's events who've made these awards possible. So thank you to our major event partner, Lysart, our silver event partner, Architecture Window Systems, and our associate partners, Autodesk, Bespoke Careers, and Plitek. On that note, I'd like to hand over to Will Pereira, Business Development Manager at Lysart, who will provide a few words of welcome. While Will makes his way to the stage, let's watch a short video from Lysart.
In the quest to design enduring yet functional buildings and spaces, navigating your material choices can be daunting. That's where Lysart excels, a business committed to simplifying the process and inspiring your creativity. Our expertise can streamline your path from concept to completion, ensuring your designs stand the test of time. Let us be your partner in building better.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I won't take up too much of your time. It's your night tonight. So Lysart is proud to partner the Australian Institute of Architects as a national corporate partner and to support tonight's prize and honours event. We are passionate about shaping Australia's environment with our range of architectural aluminium and steel products for all types of projects, such as residential, commercial and industrial. We move forward within the industry just to provide a lot of materials, but we're not just about materials. Together we can champion and incorporate sustainable solutions, work together to go to carbon net zero future, navigate the National Code of Construction and support social and affordable housing projects and initiatives. By enhancing design standards across cities, urban spaces and commercial buildings, Lysart is committed to provide and empower the architectural profession to drive a brighter future for Australia. Enjoy your evening, and here's to collaborating in 2025.
Thank you very much, Will. And thank you again, all of you, for joining us this evening. We have an exciting night ahead of us, and yeah, it's actually quite amazing being here. I really look forward to celebrating everyone's fantastic achievements. I'd also like to thank both the juries and the Honours Working Group for their work in making tonight's program come together. We would not have an event like this without the time and dedication of these people. Please, let's give them a bit of a hand. Now, there's a little bit of housekeeping. Tonight, our event will begin with our prizes, including the David Linder Prize, the Adrian Ashton Prize, Mariam Mahani Griffin, the Reconciliation Prize, and Best in Practice. We ask that both commendation and award winners get to come to the stage to accept their certificates, but only the award winners are allowed to deliver a speech. We have a lot of awards to get through tonight, so in the interest of time, we'll ask the award winners to keep their speeches to 1 minute. Following the prizes segment, we'll move into the announcement of our fellows and our life fellows before ending the night with the presentation of the President's prizes. So look, our first award tonight is the David Linder Prize, an accolade that encourages new research on architecture in the public realm. Awarded to an emerging architect in honour of the late David Linder, it recognises submissions that generate ideas for solving real challenges facing our cities and contributes to the profession as well as the broader community. Before we announce the 2024 recipient of the prize, I would now like to introduce Isabella Reynolds, who was actually last year's winner, for her research topic on the intersection of good design with chronic pain and disease. Isabella will actually give a short address on her research. Thanks, Isabella.
Hello, up first. Thank you so much for having me. Look, most of us take for granted at an event like this evening that we'll have kind of a comfortable chair to sit on, that we'll be able to use the bathrooms when we need to, that we'll be at a comfortable temperature. and that our physical surroundings generally won't cause us pain or discomfort. And of course, this isn't the case for everyone. I had the opportunity to speak to people in our community who live with chronic pain or daily pain, and who told me about the ways that their physical environments can serve to soothe or aggravate their pain experiences. Oh, that probably makes more sense now. I don't need, of course, to explain to this audience, as I usually might when presenting to other audiences, the profound effect that our buildings and public spaces have on a person's life. Through the David Lindner Prize, I was afforded the opportunity to delve deeper into this topic, which I'm so passionate about. Over the next few minutes, I'll give you a very, very brief overview of my research project titled Soft Spaces. I'll touch on the research methodology, the people interviewed for the research, and ultimately some prompts for designers to consider when designing for people living with pain. Chronic pain is a formal diagnosis for pain that persists for longer than 3 months. It affects 1 in 5 Australians, so to put that in perspective, and from my very cursory count, it looks like around 100 people in the room, it's probably around 25 of us, 54% of these being women, and 68% of working age. The Soft Spaces project seeks to expand a conventional approach beyond compliance, beyond Australian standards, and considers the broad population that coexists with chronic pain. I don't have a definitive answer, nor do I have a deemed to satisfy solution for designing for lower back pain or for persistent migraine, but rather a place to start the conversation between the people in this room. In terms of scope, the scope of the project was effectively the collation of a set of preferred environmental conditions identified through a series of qualitative interviews between that I underwent with people that live in pain every day. These very long and extremely in-depth interviews were with people whose conditions included endometriosis, spinal injuries, inflammatory bowel diseases, migraine, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, to name a few. To briefly touch on methodology, the research methodology was kind of fed by 2 streams, the first being qualitative first-hand stories in interviews, and the second being literature and desktop research into existing pain modulation strategies that are used in the medical field, and of course, existing knowledge within healthcare architecture. These responses were tagged or coded with commonalities, and commonalities between kind of reported experiences and the desktop research were overlaid to then reveal themes or categories. These were then translated into spatial considerations or kind of more tangible environmental conditions. Now, I wish I could tell you about all of the inspiring people that I spoke to, but in the interest of saving time, I will just tell you about one woman's story. Her responses to key survey questions, and I don't expect you to absorb this graph as you look at it, and the weighting of those preferences are expressed in a heat map form. So she's respondent number 22. She was a professional athlete in field athletics, but following her diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, she had to transition to an office job. And that came complete with the commute, the 8 hours of sitting down, constant office supervision. It was a really significant change in her life. As she described to me, either sitting for very long periods or standing for long periods would send kind of deep reverberant pain into her lower back and into her legs. When she would commute to the office, she would actually have to stop and sit down several times during her walk. So the spacing of public seating became a factor to her dignity. Without park benches, she'd have to sit on the ground. And the perfect intervention, I suppose, for this woman would be like a long seat height wall all the way along a footpath. It kind of enables her to take any opportunity that she wants to to sit down and to rest whenever she needs to. If she needs to go home, she highlighted the importance of what she calls an easy exit. For her, this means hailing a cab or getting on a tram. But details like whether the place has sufficient shade, seating that's made in heat-unabsorbent materials, whether there's a pickup zone for a car to stop, distances, seating, protection from rain, these all affect her experience as she tries to make that easy exit. These common responses, like this woman's, led to themes emerging from the research. They're kind of categories into which people's preferences that they identified could be sorted into. As you can see listed on the screen, they're things like visual stimuli, materials and texture, air, that means both quality and temperature, wayfinding, aspect and proximity to nature, amenity, bathrooms or drinking fountains, and then things like physical accessibility, seating heights, noise and acoustics. All the things that we would kind of anticipate. There's no significant surprises here. The themes which we saw on the previous slide, you can see are listed as vertical headings on the left, and then commonalities of an experiential nature emerge, and these ones are written across the top. These are taken as quotes from within the interviews, and so they're quite informal in their wording. They include get me out of here and the importance of timing, easy movement, the power of a beautiful space, and controlling one's sensorial input. This graph plots responses like Michaela, the story that we heard from, against these formal or experiential themes or commonalities. For example, distraction through vegetated light, which relates to the formal category of lighting and visual stimuli on the left, and the experiential category of just enough distraction along the top. The environmental preferences of the people interviewed are given alphanumeric codes and plotted on the graph. For example, ability to personally control temperature, prospect and refuge, spaces without advertising, and going to the bathroom without being watched. All of these things emerged in the interview process. So to give an example, a gentle soundscape without beeping, which is identified with code N1, indicates the importance of a user's ability to mediate or control their sensorial input, and of course falls within the category of noise and acoustics. This preference in particular was really strongly emphasised by people with migraine and as well as people with inflammatory bowel diseases. I found that many of these coded preferences were actually inextricably linked, as you would expect, to another category, and these links are, there we are. These are expressed through dotted black lines. So these lines are drawn between these coded phrases, not only to express the connectedness of the criteria, but the overall complexity of the topic. Here we are. Now we're over to some buildings. An example that was given by one of the respondents as a place that she likes to take refuge was the Art Gallery of New South Wales Library by TZG. It meets, several of the criteria that are identified, which you can see on the screen there. These include chatter in the background, plenty of seating, a calm visual environment, opportunities and choices for different textures of seating. But it's important to note that while these criteria are met by the architectural expression, they're also a function of the location and of the typology itself. It's one you wouldn't expect. Some responses are operational rather than physical, and it doesn't have to be a fancy building. It doesn't even necessarily have to be beautiful in order to make an impact. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Coles quiet hours, but they dim the music, they get rid of the beeping, they turn down the lighting. The implementation of the soft space in this case allows people to have that soft lighting and an experience of something they will have to do in daily life anyway, but just at a slightly easier way. At the BVN office in Brisbane, an internal veranda contains operable windows, something that many people will know in the room, are hard to get into a commercial tenancy. Contains operable windows, allowing users to just self-regulate temperature and air conditions themselves. The goal of the project at the end of the day is to provide some prompts or to consider some of which you've already seen. For me, for example, like over the last few weeks when I've had my head in car parking modules and AS 2890, it can be really difficult to remember those small details, like whether the seating material that I've chosen is heat absorbent, or whether I've selected appliances that beep incessantly, or whether the plan allows for some choice in regard to temperature regulation. It's these small choices that can make a large impact that we often don't have time for during our day. So what actually is a soft space? It's just any space, really. Operational, tangible, social, or physical, which is considerate of people in pain. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Isabella. Isabella will actually be providing a longer address by way of a webinar early next year, so keep your eyes out if you'd like to find out more about this work, which definitely I will be listening to that. So thanks so much for that. I would now like to announce the winner of the 2024 David Lindner Prize, which I'll hand out in the absence of Robin Linder, who is David's sister and the generous benefactor of the prize. Robin was unfortunately unable to join us tonight. And look, actually as an aside, I was actually in the year below David at uni, so I do remember him well. The winner of the 2024 David Lindner Prize is Aidan Morris for his submission entitled "Could Big Box Malls Save the High Street? The Placemaking Potential of Shopping Mall Sites in Regional New South Wales." The winning submission builds upon Aidan's previous practical experience, which radically rethought the integration of 2 regional shopping centres with their associated high street and broader town centre public realm. The expansion of the shopping centre beyond its traditional retail focus with new open space and a greater diversity of uses, including cultural, health, education and residential, aims to transform the inwardly facing building type into an active part of the high street. Under the David Lindner Prize, Aidan's research analyses regional precedents to inform design guidelines for the sustainable, active and place-making redevelopment of shopping centres within high streets of regional New South Wales. Aidan, would you like to come to the stage?
Thank you very much to the Lindner family, firstly, for supporting their profession and honouring David's memory with this prize. I'd also like to thank the jury and the Institute as well for recognising the merit in my application. Yeah, following on from Isabella's presentation there, that was very impressive. So I've got big shoes to fill over the next 12 months. Yeah, I think there's a fair bit of potential with what can be understood with these sites. That's often overlooked by particularly kind of councils. And through my experience, we've seen a little bit of an appetite to change what is sometimes a poor condition. So I'm really excited to see what we can make of it and can be done. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Aidan. Yes, I look forward to your speech next year with regards to your findings. Our next category is the Adrian Ashton Prize. First introduced in 1986 as a biennial award, the Adrian Ashton Prize recognises an outstanding piece of architectural reporting and criticism that may either build awareness and engagement in architecture from the general public or provide information for relevant professionals and specialists in the areas of architecture, interior design and environmental design. This prize is open to journalists, editors, authors, producers and others reporting on architecture and design in New South Wales. To present this prize tonight, I'd like to welcome our jury member and co-chair of the New South Wales Editorial Committee, David Walsh.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Sorry, I was hiding behind the column there. This is your script, not my script. No, I'll flick through. No, I'll find it. Got it. Sorry. I've been given 1 minute to ad lib, but I think I might have just used that up, or most of it, so I'll just keep things going. Tonight we have 2 commendations and 1 winner. The first commendation goes to Karen McCartney for her article, Architecture, 50 Years of Shaping How We Live. Sorry to photobomb. Our second commendation this evening goes to David Marr for his article No Space Like Home, which appeared in the Australian Financial Review magazine in August of 2023. Doesn't look like David's here to accept his commendation, so congratulations, David, wherever you are. And we might move on to the winner of the 2024 Adrian Ashton Prize, who is Penny Creswell for her book, The New Sustainable House. Penny's book is a considered, important and enjoyable curation of projects from across the world. It builds upon her work with previous publications. Gotta wait. I'll have to go in between. It builds upon her work with previous publications as the next chapter in her research into workable, sustainable actions that truly reflect the off-council adage to think globally and act locally. Congratulations, Penny.
Thanks, everyone. The Thames and Hudson has been a really great publisher. This is the third book that I've done with them. And the decision to make it a broad category of just sustainable houses around the world was really daunting at first, but I just decided to attack it with my normal staying up and interviewing everyone I can and doing everything I can to communicate what I found. And I spoke to some amazing architects all around the world. And this book is the result of those conversations, so thank you so much.
Congratulations, Catherine, and thanks, David. So our next prize is the Marion Mahoney Griffin Award. Established in 1998 by the New South Wales chapter, the Marion Mahoney Griffin Prize aims to acknowledge the significant contribution of women to the profession across a number of industry platforms, including architectural education, journalism, research, professional practice and theory, as well as for built in architectural work. Tonight, I would like to invite our immediate past winner, Catherine Lasson, to the stage to announce the 2024 prize.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to keep it snappy. So just to say that criteria that support a nomination for this award are expansive and I think a little daunting, actually, from the jury's perspective. The prize recognises exceptional work across many disciplines in our field, and it's often been awarded to someone who has worked in a consistently compelling way, yet maybe like Marion Mahoney, somehow under the radar. It's an award that celebrates women's substantial, critical contribution to the architectural profession, too frequently unseen. This year's recipient has challenged cultural norms. Her work has enriched our environment on innumerable fronts. Her designs have been awarded for urban, heritage, community projects, landscape contributions, and I think for many distinguished kind of background buildings, as well as for more recognisably architecturally celebrated works. So it's my absolute privilege and pleasure to announce that the winner of the Marion Marnie Griffin Prize for 2024 is Annabelle Lars. I'm just going to read out something about this.
Oh, no, read it out.
So Annabelle exemplifies all the professional attributes of the award's namesake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
She's an original and independent thinker.
definitely.
She's creative, adventurous, cross-disciplinary, and collaborative.
Oh, yeah, always.
She has led a distinguished practice for over 30 years. The jury was struck by the lack of personal recognition, given her remarkable contribution across the profession over so many years, within built work,
I couldn't have said it better.
as an educator, and to the character and culture of public spaces within our cities and regions. With extensive contributions across institute committees and task force, and elements that further the profession, we thought, and enhance design quality and standards. She's also demonstrated ongoing commitment to the community through mentorship, to education, and teaching extensively at the University of New South Wales and the University of Sydney. So,
That's a bit generous. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Thank you.
I'm supposed to say something, but I was thinking of myself as a wee bit of a rat bag. So very nice to have gotten this. And of course, yeah, I mean, I'm only here because of my practice, my partner, Andrew, the 30 years of people who've gone through our practice and the people who are at our practice today. Not to mention the clients, and let's say, you know, something good for the good clients, but shout out to the bad clients because wow, they make us the resilient people that we are today. And also shout out to Marion. I had a bit of a Google and I read a John McDonnell article, which is probably not de rigueur at the moment, but anyway, he talked about Marion's amazing positivity and get up and go at the same time as her absolutely pessimistic view on many things, and one of those being Australia and our fear, apparently, in doing things. So I say, yes, let's go fearless. Thanks.
Congratulations, Annabelle. We'll now move on to the Reconciliation Prize, which seeks to recognise architectural and professional practice in New South Wales, which advances the rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait people. Awarded annually, the prize recognises projects, research, practice, or bodies of work that create authentic partnerships with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, responding to traditional custodianship and/or encourages the training and employment of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. To present tonight's award, I'd like to welcome the jury chair and our 2023 Reconciliation Prize winner, Dr. Michael Mossman.
Thanks everyone, and firstly I just want to also pay respects to this country, lands, waters and skies, and to the custodians and knowledge holders of country and those who are here blazing trails there for future generations in architecture to follow. So it's been another busy year, and it seems like they're getting busier and busier. And overall, you know, I think we're continually moving forward, which is a great thing. So I'd say that because to me it's been another year where there's been, you know, further evolution of architectural projects that are evoking propositions of reconciliation, ongoing relationship building, a caring ethic, and deep and meaningful dialogue. So for this prize, got together with Marnie Reddy and Caroline Pidcock and went through the entries and had great discussions, and certainly was very inspired by the quality and depth of meaning and the processes and outcomes of each entry that we have tonight. So in saying that, we'll proceed with some of these announcements. So on behalf of the jury, we've awarded a commendation and a winner. And the commendation goes to Nabami, thou will, shall see, Barangaroo, Army of Me, Professor Brenda L. Croft. So Professor Croft isn't with us tonight, but her long-time collaborator, Peter Lonergan, is here to accept this commendation on her behalf. Thanks, Peter. So we'll move on to the Reconciliation Prize for 2024. And I won't say who the winner is. I'm going to go through and say a little bit about themselves, about them, before I announce who it is. And this is a group that we celebrate their interactions with architecture through practices that privilege country. So their work exemplifies reconciliation spirit in the collaborations and knowledge sharing that they extend to architecture and the broader built environment industry. This forms learning experiences for all practitioners who engage with them, to take away and build new capacities to draw upon in their subsequent project work. So it's an exceptional practice model that contributes to reconciliation and outstanding design, knowledge sharing with next generations of First Nations architects, and continual building of capacity for the industry to connect with country, community and culture. So 2024 Reconciliation Prize winner is Bangawarra.
No, do we do that? No, don't give me the mic. I'll never take it away. Speaking of trailblazers, though, I mean, Dr. Michael Mossman, oh my God, let's give him a hand. He's amazing. I've always been in awe of his work. But something that country and culture teaches us is that community is everything. And I look out here into a sea of faces of wonderful collaborators, of people who've supported us and helped us on our journey. FJC, Liz, like there's just a sea of you, and people that we're looking forward to collaborate with in the future, but also people we've also collaborated with, and it means the world to us. But, you know, this is country, and how can you lose? How can you not win? This is amazing. And the support of the Institute as well over the year with some amazing awards for beautiful work that we've done, but with country. I don't want to monopolise, obviously, the microphone. I'm learning how to hand it over. But like our community of Bangawarra, Joe, Rhiannon, Dana, are just exceptional human beings, and we're just so incredibly privileged to always be around and be supported by such amazing, beautiful people. And yeah, I should probably, Joe uses less words and more syllables. You
should say something.
Sure, you've said most of it though. Shannon's the one that if you give her the microphone, it's all over for the night. And it's usually way more fun than when I have the microphone. I think that Shannon and I, when we first started working together in 2015, we had this vision for what we could do if we thought much more expansively about what we do as in the architecture profession, in architecture schools, and we could see it, but we couldn't see many examples of it. And so it's just been the most magical journey to be able to work together, to collaborate, and then to find incredible humans such as Rhiannon Brown-Bill and Dana Marjan and Matt McConnell, Matt worked with us, the others still work with us, who helped to make that vision real, the amazing clients, and thanks to the jury, it's very humbling to win this, so thank you.
That's great. Congratulations to Bangawarra. And another thing that you might have noticed, a very subtle change in the introduction of Shannon, is Shannon was Shannon Foster, but now she's Dr. Shannon Foster, because she achieved her PhD this year. We were very lucky to have her come and talk to us about her thesis, which was pretty amazing. Great. So the next prize is the Best in Practice Prize. Now this is actually, personally, it's a very special prize to me. I've been involved with this one through the Practice Committee, and it's a prize which recognises excellence in practice, which is something that, you know, we do every day. It has a focus on the development of supportive and inclusive workplaces and contributing to the overall success and elevation of positive workplace culture in architecture. Each year we have a theme, or each second year it's actually a biennial prize, and this year's theme is actually sustainability in practice. To help hand out the award, I'd like to introduce Krista Shearer, who's the Managing Director of Bespoke, and Bespoke Careers are actually the sponsors of this prize and are instrumental in the ongoing recognition of outstanding practice. Thanks, Krista. So this evening we have two prizes. We have one for small and one for medium-large. So the winner of the 2024 Best in Practice Prize for Small Practice is Studio Pruneus. So Studio Pruneus is a collegiate team that works together efficiently and joyously. Younger architects are well mentored and supported, and they have an exceptionally high proportion of registered architects, a female-led and mostly female staff practice. With a B Corp certification, Studio Pruneus believes that our value as architects can be as problem solvers, innovators and thinkers, and that we can find solutions to use what we have in clever and beautiful ways. Congratulations.
I'll just say thank you to the Institute and to Bespoke. This is particularly meaningful this year because we turned 20, so it's a really lovely way to end the year and to be recognised by our peers for, I guess, our practice and also our process. Thank you.
Congratulations to Studio Pruneus. So the winner of now we'll go to the Medium to Large Practice Prize, again with this focus on sustainability. So actually maybe I'll go talk about I'll say who it is. So it's kind of a bit weird, but no, you have to sort of hold the clapping while I say the next bit. So it's actually Fitzpatrick and Partners. So is James here? Oh, there he is. Oh, great. Fitzpatrick and Partners are strong advocates for sharing expertise and knowledge in order to support the whole industry to make positive change. Through their website, they have shared considerable intellectual property, including their embodied carbon calculator, sustainability action plan, reconciliation action plans, and their sustainable materials guide. This generosity is deliberate and part of their industry-wide advocacy for change. Their work in commercial and health typologies paves the way for a more sustainable building, making them catalysts for significant change. And I must admit, thank you very much, because we also have looked at your carbon calculator. So congratulations.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Clearly, the remainder of the studio are not here tonight, but I think this award is really recognition of their contribution to the studio. It's more than just one person. So we thank them. They'll be delighted when they find out on WhatsApp in about a minute's time. But if there was one person to mention, of course, James, who founded the practice 25 years ago. His commitment to quality, to innovation is central to everything we've done and central to the success of the studio. He's also not here tonight. Our other business partner, Paul Reedy. Paul is a real champion and advocate and has an incredible passion for sustainability. He brings so much value to us as a studio, but through his tireless work with Architects Declare, he shares a lot of that knowledge with industry, and we encourage everybody to ensure that that knowledge remains open sourced, shared, and we work collaboratively on a challenge that's bigger than all of us. Paul obviously is not here tonight as well, but one person who isn't here tonight is Melissa, our studio manager, who's really central to us as a business, is much more than our studio manager, and she's just as responsible for this award as anybody. She's the heart and quite often the brains of a lot of what we do, so congratulations to Mel as well.
So congratulations to Studiopreneurs, Fitzpatrick Partners, and all of the winners thus far. Before we move on to the next stage of the evening, we'll hear a few words from our sponsor, Farzan Nagshanar, who Architectural Specification Specialist for tonight's Silver Partner Architectural Window Systems. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Brody, AIA team members, to organizing such great event tonight. My name is Farzan from AWS, Architectural Window Systems. AWS, for those of you who don't know us, has been around for around 30 years. Actually, next year is going to be our 30th anniversary. During all this time, we have been proudly sponsoring and supporting Institute of Architects for many years. And this gave us a great opportunity to be a part of this family of architects, and that's what we love. I think what we tried, what we did our best was to be not just another window system supplier, but instead, together with my incredible colleagues like Drew Harman and all other team members of AWS in Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, and Melbourne, we tried to be working with architects to provide solutions to shape their ambitious designs and shaping our cities to have a better space to live. And tonight, obviously, we are here to celebrating all those, the best of the solutions, and I'm wishing all the best for the nominees here tonight. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to AWS. So look, now we'll move to the honours part of the evening. That was the first part of the prizes to go. We've still got the President's Prize at the end. But with the honours part of the evening, which covers the presentation of Fellows, Honorary Fellows, and also the Life Fellows. To announce these awards tonight, I'd like to welcome to the stage Walter Brindle, who is the Chair of the Honours Working Group.
Hi everyone, thank you Elizabeth. It's my absolute pleasure to stand before you for this segment of the evening. A wonderful moment where we get to, for a brief time, focus on the individuals behind the buildings and in kind of a way sort of live up to our name as an Institute of Architects. but there's a trend tonight of kind of getting onto things, so I'm happy to live up to that and dive straight in here. So we'll start, I think, this segment of the evening by announcing fellows. So fellowship is awarded to those who've demonstrated significant contribution to the architecture profession beyond architectural practice. Each nomination requires the endorsement of 2 voting members and the chapter council. There's a few names here on this list, so what we ask is that each fellow come to the stage for their certificate and a photo. In alphabetical order, then, our class of 2024 fellows are Joe Bastian, congratulations. Oh.
Stand with me? Be in every photo?
Oh, yes, we should. Yes.
Oh,
this is good. Yes.
Not in green.
Craig Burns. We're still working this out in real time, and that's all fine, right? Ashley Dunn. Phoebe Glanville. Adam Haddow. Oops, sorry. I feel out of place out of green. Lee Hillam. That's right. David Kaunitz. Tiffany Liu. Carol Mara. Anita Panov. Andrew Scott. Felicity Stewart. missed my photograph here. Go again. I am getting the hang of it, I promise. Hannah Tribe, yeah. Tina Zales. Oh yes, thank you. I will by the end of this, I'm going to have it. Emily Womble. Yeah. Oh no, look, yeah. And Kawai Young. Now, I have a couple of names also to read out who have been elevated to fellows, but who'll be recognised in absentia. Professor Michael Chapman. Emily Fox. Kwan Yi Lim. Chris Major. Jennifer McMaster. And Susan O'Neill. And I bet you thought I was finished then, but I'm not. Ninochka Tchaikovsky, my apologies, and Ksenia Toteeva. Congratulations to all of you on your elevations. We will now announce 2 honorary fellows for 2024. Honorary fellowships are awarded to people who are not necessarily registered architects, but have nevertheless made a significant contribution to architecture. This could be individuals who've advanced its role in creating more sustainable communities, those involved in the promotion and management, and those who nurture the interests of future generations. They contribute greatly towards architecture and towards the profession, be they patrons, facilitators, commentators or educators. In their different ways, they help to improve the quality of design, influence the delivery of the built environment in a sustainable and creative way. This year we have 2 honorary fellows to acknowledge. The first is Professor Anthony Burke, who will be awarded this honour in absentia. Our second honorary fellow is Professor Philip Oldfield. And finally, I'm starting to get the hang of it, so we're coming to our Life Fellows now. Now, Life Fellowship is awarded to members who are a fellow of the Institute and who, in the opinion of National Council, have rendered notable contribution to the advancement of the profession in design, construction, literature, education, public service, or another category deemed worthy of the honour. Life Fellowship is the highest category of honour that the Institute is able to bestow upon members practising architecture. I'll now announce our Life Fellows, and we invite them to say a short speech if they so desire. Our first Life Fellow is Margaret Petrikowski. Our second Life Fellow is Tasman Story.
Oh, thank you. I think Margaret's given me a bit more time, isn't she? Look, I do have a speech.
Not too long, Dad.
Settle down. Thank you for this, and thank you to the National Council for the honour. And I think it's worthy of a little bit more than a minute. It's only been 54 years. I've been very blessed in my career, and there are three significant people whom I have to acknowledge. First, my wife, Linda, who I met in an architect's office, who was my life partner and business partner. It was Linda who kept me focused, steady and solvent. Truly, it's bad now. Lester Trotman, my dear colleague with whom I completed the multi-award-winning Walsh Bay redevelopment. And ironically, Lester and Linda worked together with Michael Fox, and the three of us became lifelong friends, Linda typing his thesis in our first year of marriage. But sadly, both Lester and Linda passed away this year. Linda was not only my mentor, she was a guide to a cohort of young architects who sought wisdom and knowledge. And in 2007, Linda encouraged Lester and I to enter an international competition for 12 museums and the restoration of the significant site in Saudi Arabia. We won that with Air St. Gross from Washington, and Lester and I started a decade-long journey, resulting in a UNESCO listing for that property, that project, and many international awards for its restoration. Lester was a heritage architect of international status. He was kind, polite, and loved his clients, and they loved him. And finally, I wanted to thank Ronald Gilling. I don't know if you remember Jocelyn Gilling. I was privileged to work for them. Ronald Gilling was a most wonderful person. He was generous, and he was an old school kind of guy. He took me aside, and Morris Evans as well, and he said, "You chaps are going to become the foundation of our practice, so we're going to make you directors. But the very first thing we're going to do is send you overseas to see the world." And they did. Morris was sent to Edinburgh University, and Ron said to me, "You and Linda are coming to the UIA International Conference in Madrid." Both of us went. At that conference, to my thrill, Richard Neutra was the keynote speaker. And at the moment of his entry, a tall and unassuming man said, "Senor Neutra is not coming today. I'll read his speech." 45 boring minutes later, in a Spanish accent, Neutra's speech was read. And so at that time, we looked on the board, and James Stirling was going to give a speech. I hope you all know who James Stirling was. James Stirling was the preeminent architect of the British era at that time. We went into lecture hall, and he stood there alone, a sort of Churchill-like figure in his proportions. Very much the man of the moment, but he only had 10 people. I think they'd all got the message that Neutra wasn't coming, so probably Stirling wasn't going to turn up. He stood there with us, got down from the stage, shook us by the hand, the 10 of us, and said, "Gentlemen," ignoring Linda, my wife, of course, "you are the elite of the profession. You have or will design great buildings and design wonderful urban areas and splendid spaces. But remember, Michelangelo didn't get up one day and decide to paint the Sistine Chapel. He had a patron. You are nothing without your patron. Your job is to realise the dreams of others in a way they'd never expected and to serve society. So please, put your egos away." Ronald Gilling taught me knowledge and gifts, knowledge and how to give generously to young people. Lester taught me kindness and politeness. And Linda taught me that I'm not that important. Just the guy at home doing the dishes. But all of them taught me to put my ego away. And I think architects have a really good ego to polish. I mean, I polish mine every day, I'm sure you do, to get on in life. But that idea of humility and an architect don't kind of go together. But it's a very good way to live and to pull yourself up from time to time and say, yeah, you're just an ordinary kind of guy. So thank you to the National Council for this award. It's a great honour to receive it. Thank you very much.
We're all getting the hang of it. Christine Vidaz.
Okay. I feel very touched and honoured to be given this recognition. It's actually really lovely to be here. I haven't been to anything like this for about 25, 30 years. And you've all changed. You're much nicer. You're less egotistic, you're more feminine, and you have a sense of humour, and which is great. So I'll give you my speech because I have written it down, so I may as well give it to you. Okay. To think 60 years ago, in 1964, I started my career at Adelaide Architecture. I was repeatedly told that it was a waste of resources to teach me architecture. I'd only get married and never succeeded as an architect. So luckily I didn't take any notice of them. And I moved to Byron Bay, and actually I've always had a philosophy that buildings should be designed as part of their natural surroundings. They should fit into the plot of land, like trees, rocks and plants. Water should be allowed to flow naturally around them as a feature, as a joy. Today, with climate change, architects are struggling to build sustainably and meeting the amount of regulations. But still, maybe even more, our architecture should be a celebration, a glorification of the earth. We are not only technologists, we are also artists, and as such, our design should reflect our love of our beautiful, precious earth and glorify the natural surroundings. The best compliment I think I've ever had was that I didn't realise that there was a building on that beautiful piece of land. So I suppose it's a bit like what you were saying. Yeah, really, our egos shouldn't be dominating our architecture. We should be really, I personally feel that we should be just, because of the way the earth is going, I think we really have to reflect how we should, the love of our environment in our architecture. So thank you.
I'd also like to acknowledge 2 further Life Fellows who will be awarded their elevation in absentia. William Morrison and Jean Rice. Now I'm supposed to hand over the microphone now, but I've got the flow of it, so I'm just going to do one little thing, is to say that there's quite a lot of work that goes into the honours component, and I would just like to take a moment to just thank the honours working group / committee. We haven't decided if we're a committee or a working group just yet. Catherine Losby, Carolyn Pidcock, Matthew Pullinger, Andrew Nemo. Thank you very, very much. I'd also like to acknowledge 3 student volunteers from UTS who very kindly donated their time to do writing and research and other things. Alessia, Eliza and Natasha, who two of whom are here in the room, so thank you very much. Okay, I'll surrender now. Thank you everyone, and congratulations to the winners.
Thank you very much, Walter. And thank you as well for your tireless work on this. So now to our final two awards of the evening, which fall under the President's Prize. This prize is awarded at the discretion of the New South Wales Chapter President and is given to an individual who has made a substantial contribution to the profession of architecture. We have two prizes to announce this evening. For our first of these, I'd like to introduce our immediate past President of the New South Wales Chapter and National President-elect Adam Haddow, who will present this prize as the outgoing President.
Hi everyone, it's amazing to see you here. I think it's quite nice sitting there thinking about how fantastic it is to be part of a profession and to feel part of something bigger than yourself. So to thank you for all of that, I think there's something nice to be said about kindness and joy, and it felt a bit like kindness and joy in the room tonight. Okay, so last year when I was president, tragically, one of our members died, and I probably didn't get as many phone calls as I've ever had in my term as president up until that moment. And I think it speaks volumes about the person when you get unsolicited telephone calls to talk about the person. So I decided in my role as president to make a special President's Prize. It's quite a fantastic thing to be a president because you get to do that. So tonight we're awarding the prize to Chris Thomas. His family are here tonight, so congratulations. So I'm going to read out the citation and then invite the family to come and accept the prize. For more than 20 years, Chris Thomas was the manager of design at the City of Sydney. In this role, Chris was instrumental in helping instill an appreciation for quality design outcomes, championing design excellence across a portfolio of architecture, landscape architecture, and public art. He showed a deep understanding of the importance of delivering exceptional and site-responsive projects for the community. With a background in architecture and landscape architecture, in his role at the City of Sydney, Chris guided a breadth of built typologies ranging from significant city-shaping projects through to intimate pocket parks, foreshore connections, aquatic and recreation facilities, streets and public places, parklands, civic and community buildings, and heritage adaptive reuse projects. Quite nervous, actually. Prior to joining the City of Sydney, Chris began practice at Connie Bear Morrison and Hassel, where he contributed to many award-winning projects, notably Dixon Street in Haymarket, Victoria Park, a public domain in Zetland, and Olympic Park Station in Homebush, which received the 2023 Australian Institute of Architects New South Wales Chapter's Enduring Architecture Prize for its continuing contribution to urban architecture and the public realm. Leading and inspiring a new generation of design managers at the City, Chris developed a rigorous design process encouraging engagement with design practices of all sizes, including providing opportunities for young and emerging practitioners. Through his dedication, Chris contributed to the core fabric of the city and provided a design legacy that will be admired for generations. Chris and the City's projects teams achievements in guiding the delivery of outstanding community projects have been continually recognised by the industry, with 226 awards celebrating more than 50 individual projects, breathtakingly resulting in an award won every year for the last 20 years. These awards have included 99 Australian Institute of Architects and Australian Institute of Landscape Architecture awards alone, including 6 Greenaway Awards for Heritage, 3 Lloyd Rees Awards for Urban Design, 3 Solomon Medals for Public Architecture, and the New South Wales Architecture Medallion, 4 New South Wales Medals for Landscape Architecture, and an Australian Medal for Landscape Architecture. Outstanding work. Chris was a collaborative, strategic thinker with exceptional design skills coupled with technical flair. Chris's strength was in his ability to create a space for designers to achieve their best work. Chris never sought the limelight, but with this prize, the Australian Institute of Architects would like to recognise Chris's skill and dedication to the practice of architecture and landscape architecture. His work has had a significant and lasting impact on the quality of Sydney's public domain and the day-to-day lives of many. Congratulations. Yeah.
Didn't know I was going to be saying a speech. I just want to thank the Institute for presenting this quiz, and to all the people who put Chris forward for this award. Because he would never have considered it for himself. When Chris passed, his colleagues gave us this most beautiful letter of their working life with him. Amongst other things, to my and the children's astonishment, he had won all these prizes. We never, ever knew, not one. You know, he would spend his weekends in the garden, and it was just no idea. Because he was only about process, he was only about achieving the best possible result for the city, and also supporting all the people he worked with. So thank you. This is an absolutely unforgettable moment for myself and for the children. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam, and thank you to the family. Look, there is actually great alignment with the work of Chris. His attention to the public domain has so benefited our cities. And the next President's Prize, which is actually under my watch, actually demonstrates this. This year, I felt it was essential to return to fundamentals, knowledge. Without knowledge, progress is impossible. Our decisions risk being biased, shaped solely by individual experiences and limited perspectives. Research and history guide us to achieve better outcomes for the future. The past few years have been deeply challenging for society. We've faced profound impacts of a global pandemic that strained our social fabric. We're witnessing the troubling effects of social media on younger generations, the escalating consequences of climate change exacerbated by urbanisation, and a financial crisis affecting us all. Our social structures are under immense pressure. We see more people without stable housing, fewer care options for the elderly, and an intensifying mental health crisis amongst our youth. In such times, there's one place, a very special place, that offers support and continuity. This place has historically woven our society together, serving as a sanctuary for all. As my recipient so beautifully puts it, they're places that make your heart sing, lift your spirit. It's that extraordinary feeling of crossing the threshold and being somewhere special. I'm honoured to present the award, the President's Prize this year. It's both to a person but also to an institution, and a very important institution, to Dr. Caroline Butler-Brown, who's our state librarian, and her organisation, the State Library of New South Wales. Dr. Caroline Butler-Broden is a published author in architecture and urban history, has 20 years of leadership experience in public institutions, including Sydney Living Museum, the Historic Houses Trust, the Art Gallery of New South Wales. Her career has been dedicated to leadership that connects citizens and visitors to special places, culture and heritage through a broad range of statewide public engagement programs. Before starting the library, she was Deputy Secretary for Cities and Active Transport for New South Wales Government, where her work focused on major policy and program of investment in New South Wales, addressing the wellbeing, walkability and activation of our streets and civic places. She also serves on a range of juries, committees and boards to promote the power of place, culture, community and public space in Australia. This recognition celebrates the vital roles libraries play as champions of knowledge and highlights the transformative power of thoughtful architecture. Libraries have always understood the importance of creating spaces that inspire. Now more than ever, we recognise libraries as essential public infrastructure, bearing a civic presence that serves and uplifts us all. In the noise of the modern world, it's crucial to pause and reflect on why knowledge matters, especially when in a nurturing and positive environment. Through Caroline's wealth of experience in placemaking and public spaces, she continues to champion the importance of libraries as civic spaces. Civic spaces are a critical part of the fabric of our cities. When your apartment is too dark or too damp, the library becomes a place of rest and respite and reinvigoration through knowledge. Libraries connect regional towns across Australia. They're safe spaces where knowledge knows no discrimination. They remain amongst the last public institutions where the benefits of thoughtful design and uplifting architecture are both understood and appreciated. So, at the Institute, we look forward to sharing knowledge with Caroline through a shared common interest on the importance of the public domain and civic spaces. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you to the Institute. It's a really massive honour to receive this. I'm not an architect, as you probably guessed. I'm the daughter of an architect, grew up the seventh child in Adelaide and arrived in Sydney, I suppose, about 35 years ago, with not much to my name. In actual fact, one of my first jobs was working in Architect's bookstore in Tusculum, for any of you who remember that. I think it was probably the best job I've ever had, apart from being the state librarian. Yeah, I got to immerse myself in books. I think we only sold a few $100s a day. Yeah, it's a really, really great honour. I was lucky I was surrounded by books about architecture. I was taken to places. That thing of experiencing places has been a very big part of my life. And I thank my children, because now they've wised up many years ago to the detours that I would take them on to visit buildings or landscapes or public spaces. They would groan, but little by little, I see they show great interest in architecture, actually. Look, I think I've worked with amazing teams for so many years. Museum of Sydney, Sydney Living Museums, Art Gallery of New South Wales, and then through into this sort of weird turn that I made into planning and transport. But back to the library. The library is an extraordinary place. It's full of the most, people talk about authenticity, it's full of the most authentic people you will ever meet. We've got librarians and curators and collection experts and so forth. And every day I take time to wander into the Mitchell Library, seriously one of the great rooms in Australia, or the Marie Bashir Library, reading room, quite a different space, and designed by Andrew Anderson's, of course. And that building where my office is one of the most beautiful buildings. It's light, the sight lines are beautiful. Our staff have access to balconies with greenery and all sorts of other things for their lunch and so forth. But yeah, I mean, as you beautifully said, Elizabeth, libraries are at the absolute democratic heart
of society, and that has never mattered more than right now. They are open to everyone. Indeed, one of the things that we manage is the homeless community that live in Hunter Lane. It's a big part of the library. They're there at 9 a.m. every morning because we offer clean toilets and amenities and a warm place for them to sit in winter and a cool place for them to sit in summer. Libraries welcome everyone. Yes, they're places of learning. Yes, they're places of gathering. They're places of joy. As soon as people cross the threshold, they know they're somewhere special. But critically, they're free and they're open and they're accessible to all. I'd like to thank all my teams in the public spaces and placemaking fields where I ended up in planning. I learnt a truckload from them, and it was the best thing I ever did to actually move out of the arts and realise that the value of arts is not self-evident. You move into transport, those big departments, and you realise that you have to tell that story of why they matter. So I'm on a mission to tell the story of the value of places like libraries and museums and so forth. I thank my family. My husband's the great intellect of the family and writes on architecture and all sorts of things, but has kept the home fire burning because I've been at work a lot in the last 20 odd years. And I thank you, Charles, because my children have really been brought up mostly by him. And I thank those said children who have been with me on all those mad ventures to new places. I love seeing new places and to see the great work of all architects and the value of this great profession and everything that you do, the difference that a well-designed place can make, but also a simply designed place can make. And I'll finish on, as State Librarian, it's a fascinating role because the State Library actually partially funds the 365 libraries across New South Wales. It's part of our Act. We also provide professional development and so forth. So in the last 2 weeks, I've been to the new BVN library at Coffs Harbour, extraordinary. I've been in Queanbeyan in the last few days, the National Library of Australia in Canberra, but also small libraries in Braidwood and Bungendore and other places. And you realise it doesn't matter how simple those spaces are or indeed how sophisticated and how extraordinary. Libraries nonetheless are places of community connection. They're places of heart, they're places of joy, they're places of gathering, and equally they're places for debate and discussion. And debate and discussion has never mattered more to society. So thank you, Elizabeth. This means a truckload, particularly to my father, who's past gone 20 odd years. He'd be amazed, I suspect. But here's to you, Dad. And thank you very much and for inviting me here tonight.
Thanks, Caroline. So that brings the formalities to a close. Congratulations again to all of our prize winners, as well as our fellows, honorary fellows and life fellows this evening. I'd like to again take this opportunity to thank our partners for their ongoing support of the Institute and the awards program. So to thank you, our major event partner, Lysart, our silver event partner, Architecture Window Systems, and our associate partners, Autodesk, Bespoke Careers and Pletech. Finally, I hope you can all stay back and join us for a post-show drink to toast all the incredible achievements that have been here on show tonight. It's been a pleasure to have been your host tonight, and have a lovely evening.